Hello, my name's Elijah Rolls, and yesterday the Oscar nominations came out. So, without any further ado, let's get on with all the nominations from Best Picture to the short categories. The nominees for Best Picture are Anora, Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Again, after some minor controversies being The Brutalist and Emilia Perez, The Brutalist being that AI was apparently used in, particularly with the dialogue editing and allegedly with some architect design, which director Brady Corbett had pretty much watered down and said, okay, we didn't use any AI whatsoever, which somewhat left even more of a sour taste in all people's mouth. Particularly with the film's gigantic 3.5-hour runtime. We have Emilia Perez, where the hate train is just getting silly to beyond overkill at this point. Like, yes, I understand some controversies around the movie being a really bad representation of, let's say, the crime in Mexico, how the cartel is depicted in the film, and the trans issues in Latin America, and the femicide in Latin America again. Even though I actually like this movie. If you don't agree with me, just click off this video because I actually liked Emilia Perez, so we'll leave it at that. But of course, there's Dune Part 2, which I definitely want to see win Best Picture, but however, given its surprisingly minimal appearance at the Oscars, being just 5 nominations, and knowing this is the real world, it's not going to happen, but I think if we want a controversy-free win, I imagine either Anora or Conclave is going to win for this one, given how overblown the Emilia Perez controversy was, and if the Brutalist AI usage or the apparent use of AI may have rubbed people the wrong way. And of course, there's The Wicked, which got a lot of nominations. And of course, there's Substance, which is also there as well, which is again a great horror movie. So. It's again, I imagine Conclave, with a gun to my head, either Anora or Conclave. No, I think Anora is going to win for Best Picture. For Best Actor, we have Adrien Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for Complete Unknown, Colman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I imagine it's going to go to Adrien Brody for The Brutalist in this one. Like, he's already has a Golden Globe to his name already, and of course, with Sebastian Stan, who also did get a Golden Globe, but that's for a different film with The Apprentice, which again was a very big surprise at the Oscars, since it did have some appearances in the Golden Globes, and it did appear Best Supporting Actor for the BAFTAs with Jeremy Strong's performance, which I'll get to later, and now it definitely had enough legs to go to the Oscars. So I think with from all the odds, I think Adrien Brody is going to win for Best Actor for The Brutalist. Best Actress, we have Suriva Revo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Karlsman for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernando Torres for I'm Still Here. Again, even though I still having a lot of backing for Anora, particularly Mikey Madison's performances in the movie, but I think it's getting more and more of a realistic chance that Demi Moore is going to win for Substance. Even though I think I am backing Demi Moore for Substance to win for Best Actress, but I think knowing what we have at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if Mackie Madison would win for Nora, in my opinion. For Best Supporting Actress, we have Monica Barbero for Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for The Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Again, we have a snub in this one, being Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez. In my opinion, she does deliver an incredible performance in this movie. She was nominated for the BAFTA, she was nominated for a Golden Globe performance, but again, Oscars is out of reach for her. Again, we have Ariana Grande, who's going to be a massive draw for viewerships because, again, she's a massive pop star. And, of course, now already a pretty much an established film actress now, even though she did start off on TV on Nickelodeon. But again, I think it's going to be Zoe Saldana who's going to win for Emilia Perez. Like, she delivers a incredibly wild and particularly a brilliant performance, and already somewhat of a divisive movie for a lot of people. Basically, a Marmite movie, as my teacher from university would put it. As in, people are going to really like it, or people are going to really hate it. But Zoe Saldana, for my opinion, is going to win for Best Supporting Actress. For Best Supporting Actor, we have Yora Bosanoff for Anora, Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Again, we have another snub in this category, and this time it's Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2, because he was brilliant in this movie, and so much so I think he was probably the best performance in this movie. And again, Gladiator has a really only has one appearance in the awards, being just one nomination at the costumes, which I will get to eventually. But again, if I know anything from the amount of clout this year has, I think Kieran Culkin is going to win for A Real Pain. He's like an awards magnet at this point. Like, of course, he is up against his Succession co-star being Jeremy Strong, who's appearing in The Apprentice as Roy Cohen and as Trump's lawyer. Again, I wonder if Conan O'Brien, who's the host of this awards, is going to make some jokes that, oh look, you lot are from Succession. I wonder how that turned out. So, for Best Supporting Actor, it's going to be Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain for the win. For Best Director, we have Emilia Perez, Anora, Brutalist, The Substance, A Complete Unknown. Again, another snub in this category being The Conclave, which, again, the movie is brilliantly directed as well. I'm surprised it didn't get a nomination here. Again, we have Emilia Perez, again a great movie, and not a lot of people's cup of tea, but I imagine, just me imagining, it's going to go down to Sean Baker for Nora or Brady Corbett for The Brutalist. But so I think putting bits together, I feel like it's going to be Bradley Cooper for Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, who's most likely going to win for Best Director for this one. For Best Adapted Screenplay, we have Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing. And I think for Best Adapted Screenplay, it's obviously I have to go to Conclave, because that movie is just brilliantly written, and of course it was based on a book from a well-known thriller writer who did Officer and Spy, if I remember correctly. And of course Conclave is a brilliantly written script, so I'm going to go with that. And for Best Original Screenplay, we have Anora, Brutalist, Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. Again, I imagine Anora is going to win for Best Original Screenplay, being that Sean Baker is just killing it at the awards at the moment. And we have Real Pain, written by Jesse Eisenberg. If I remember correctly, this is his first nomination since his acting work in The Social Network. September 5, I think it was Hollywood Reporter who predicted this would win Best Picture, and it only ended up with one nomination. Particularly, it's a movie about how the ABC News Corporation reacted to the terrorist attack on Israeli athletes during the 1972 Olympics in Munich, West Germany. Again, Substance, again a really brilliant script, and it did respect the balance. And of course, this movie is one. A brilliant film, but really graphic and brutal, particularly at the end. Again, for original screenplay, I'm going to go in for that. Anora is going to win for Best Original Screenplay. For Best Original Song, we have Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late, Elmar from Emilia Perez, Mike Bino from Emilia Perez, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, and A Journey from 6888. Again, all of them are quite brilliant songs, particularly with Elton John, who collaborated with Brady Carlile in that track, and being a documentary about him prepping for his final tour due to health reasons. But I think, in my opinion, Elmar from Emilia Perez is going to win for that one, just because I feel like it encapsulated the energy of the entire movie in a nutshell, as in it's very in your face, it's very brash and very musical, and if you hate it, the movie doesn't really care. And a lot of people apparently hated it, so the movie doesn't, of course, really care about that. So it's going to be Elmar for Best Original Song. We have Best Score, we have Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and Wild Robot. I find Wicked's nomination here to be a little bit weird, just because it's a musical that has been done loads of times on like Broadway, West End, and all that. But I feel like I came into the mindset like, okay, this is all music, all from the musical. Maybe they've changed a lot of it around, or given it a complete facelift, or kept it intact. But I find it somewhat a little bit weird, since if I remember correctly, when it comes to musicals in films, it's never usually nominated for best score, but maybe best original song if they have a new song or two. But yeah, and also it did count some controversy with Dune Part 2 not being nominated. In fact, being not qualifying at all due to some weird quota thing. But in my opinion, I think for best score, I imagine it's going to go to Conclave. No. I mean, the best original score is going to go to The Brutalist. Again, that music in the trailer is just sweeping at best. Of course, there's Wild Robot, which has some incredible music, and of course, Emilia Perez. Now, for Best International Film, we have from Brazil, I'm Still Here. From Denmark, The Girl with a Needle. From France, Emilia Perez. From Germany, The Seed of a Sacred Fig. And from Latvia, Flow. Again, I imagine it's going to be a pretty easy win for Emilia Perez, considering it's now the most nominated film not in the English language of all time in the Oscars. So it's going to be an easy win for Best International Film for Emilia Perez. For Best Animated Film, the winner is not going to be this obvious at all. We have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and Wild Robot. Again, the Flow did cause a huge upset at the Golden Globes when it did win at the Best Anime Feature. Of course, it is facing off some very steep competition with Inside Out 2, and of course Wild Robot, which has 2 additional nominations for Best Score and Best Sound. We'll get to sound a little bit later on. But again, I am good hedge bets that a Wild Robot is going to win for Best Anime Feature. But I would not at all be surprised if Flow were to win for Best Anime Feature as well. We have, for Best Documentary Feature, we have Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Proclaim War, Soundtrack to a Kuata, and Sugarcane. All of them are dealing with some very difficult subject matter. 2 of them with talking about an active war zone, with Black Box Diaries about a sexual assault case in Japan, No Other Land being the ongoing war in Palestine and Gaza, Proclaim War, which is about the ongoing war in Ukraine and how people are lifting their own morales up. Soundtrack to a Kurata, which is about the assassination of a Congolese leader. And we have Sugarcanes, which is about the historical abuse that Canada frowned upon its own native population through its schooling system, which is again pretty difficult subject matter. Of course, but knowing the world we live in and how really horrible it is, I imagine No Other Land, a film about the ongoing war in Palestine, is going to win for that one. For costuming design, we have Wicked, Nosferatu, Completely Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2, of course, with its only nomination, which is again somewhat very surprising. Conclave, Completely Unknown. Nosferatu being costuming work, and the winner I kind of want to see out of this category is Wicked, because I really do like the costuming work in that one. For Best Makeup and Hairstyling, we have Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, Substance, and Wicked. Again, surprisingly, we didn't see Beetlejuice because I really like the makeup work in that film. I think, of course, we were talking about makeup and hairstyling. I really wanted to go to the Substance, particularly in the third act of the film. Again, I'm going to say again, if you know what happens in the third act of Substance, then you know what happens in the third act of Substance. And of course, we have production design. We have Wicked, Brutalist, Dune Part 2, and Nosferatu and Conclave. I'm really wanting to see Dune Part 2 win because it's my favourite film of the year. But again, given its very minimal presence at the moment, I imagine it's going to have to go to Wicked for Best Production Design. For Best Sound, we have Completely Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and Wild Robot. Again, some really good contenders on that list, but I'm really wanting to see Dune Part 2 win for Best Sound because I really like the sound work in that movie. For Best Editing, we have Anora, Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. Again, we didn't see any Dune Part 2 anywhere in this movie. I mean, anywhere in this category, which is, again, I was hoping that it was going to be a strong suit, its editing, but it's nowhere to be found in this movie. I'm specifically surprised that Brutus did get nominated for editing, considering the movie's notorious runtime of 3.5 hours. So, of course, I wanted to go for best editing to go to Anora for that one, as it is also edited by its film director. Like I can name a couple of directors who edited our movies, and Sean Baker's one of them who did it for Anora. And for best cinematography, we have Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. And with Maria being its only nomination, surprisingly not for its costume or Angelina Jolie's performance. Again, I really want to see Dune Part 2 win for this one, but I think it's going to realistically go to Brutalist for that one for best cinematography. Particularly with its iconic shot of the upside down Statue of Liberty. And for best visual effects, we have Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of Planet of the Apes, Wicked. Again, I think it's going to be a definite win for Dune Part 2 to win for that one. There's Alien Romulus, a horror movie I definitely enjoyed out of this one. Better Man, which I found somewhat really surprising given the film did really poorly in the box office in the United States. So much so that Paramount is no longer even reporting on the box office anymore. It made something like a tune like not even $2 million in the US and Canadian box office, due to the fact that Robbie Williams is not really that popular in the United States as opposed to here in the United Kingdom. And we have Dune Part 2, which I'm going to give it a win. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because the Oscars are going bananas for monkeys nowadays. And Wicked. Again, 3 movies about monkeys. Of course, it's about bananas. What's next? A whole movie about PG Tips adverts? Who knows, but Dune 2 is going to win for that one. And now last, and certainly not least, we have the short films category. For live action short film, we have Anonji, I Am Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, Aline, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. Again, I haven't seen any of these films, any of the 15 films, so I imagine, just on title, I imagine The Last Ranger is going to win for that one. Best animated short, we have Beautiful Men, In the Shadow of Cypress, Magic Candies, Wonder to Wonder, Yuck. I think how punchy the title is, I imagine Yuck is going to win for Best Animated Short. For Documentary Short, the final category, we have Death by Numbers, I Am Ready Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, The Only Girl in the Orchestra. Again, I imagine something like Instruments of a Beating Heart will win for Best Documentary Short. So, what do you think of the Oscar nominations this year? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Letterboxd. This is Elijah Wells, and bye.